If this is true and this finally take place, 40% approved by the government, I think it's a welcome development and it's a good step in the right direction. And I want you to pay attention, listen very carefully to what they said, and make sure you read in between the line and find a balance. The comment section is open for discussion. Let's have a robust discussion. Subscribe and share this particular video. Pay attention and listen very well.
And we thank the Lord we are not in a hospital. What the enemy plans is more than just what we're expecting, but the Lord has been faithful in all his house. We thank the Lord for the meeting of yesterday between the government and the grant handlers. We thank the Lord for the end result and the finality. It's dropping in sequence. And we thank the Lord for all that he has done for us within this month of March. We are achieving some milestones that we never did achieve before. And to God be the glory, because all our expectations are finally coming clear. The Lord is faithful. Can we give the Lord a clap offering in case you're listening to the sound of my voice this morning? We thank the Lord for his goodnesses and his mercies upon our lives. And I think we're going to get there. Whatever achievement that we have achieved, we are ebbing closely to the better aspect, regardless of what the governments are trying to do to frustrate every attempt and efforts of everyone, especially the masses. What kind of a government do we have? They say it's government for the people, but no. I don't think so. But God will not shame us. God passed them. God is bigger than them. God is greater than them. And God will bring the best for us. I want to quickly drop all of the finalities of the meeting yesterday, the extensive deliberations between the federal government and Theobarth also. And I think they are dropping in sequence. That of UAAG possibly might apply, and I think all of them are just dropping like that. It's a concrete and a structured framework that has been established to facilitate the disbursement of funds to subscribers herein are stated. And this resolution is going to be marking a pivotal moment in the financial allocation process that ensures that all beneficiaries receives their entitlements in an orderly and systematic manner. The meeting concluded with the consensus that disbursement will proceed in phased approach. And this prioritizes different categories of recipients based on a hierarchical structure. And the goal is to ensure that there is transparency, efficiency, and equitable distribution while adhering to the financial policies and agreements that are set forth within this organ. I'm going to break down the disbursement structure so that you can have an understanding of what actually was arrived at within the meeting. The first one is the Theobarth's personal fund, the initial release. The first phase of disbursement will be executed through Theo's personal fund, and this initial release will serve as a foundation demonstrating commitment to fulfilling financial obligations before additional funds from other sources are allocated according to information source. And this underscores also Theobarth's dedication to ensuring that the process begins without unnecessary bureaucratic delays. And the second in this order is the project disbursement, which is the mega and the normal projects. Upon the successful completion of the first phase, the next stage would involve the disbursement of funds to projects, both mega projects and normal projects. And these projects, which have been instrumental in driving development and economic activities, would receive funding as per the agreed upon framework. This phase would ensure that vital initiatives, including infrastructural developments, community programs, and sectoral investments, continue without financial hindrance. And that's the second phase. It is for mega projects and for normal projects. Very important. Mega projects and normal projects, very, very important. All right, so that is that about that. Then the third on the list for the disbursement is the NGO disbursement, which is a 40% allocation rule. Following the project funding phase, attention will shift to the non-governmental organizations, which are the NGOs, and the disbursement to NGOs would be subject to a 40% allocation rule, meaning that only 40%, according to information source, of the total clusters under each NGO will receive payments at this stage. This decision ensures a measured and a controlled release of funds, and this is going to prioritize sustainability over a one-time payout approach. Then additionally, the premium clusters subscribers will also receive their disbursement during this stage, and this category includes individuals or entitled or entities that have met specific eligibility criteria, thereby qualifying them for preferential consideration in the structured disbursement model. That's the fourth on the list. The third on the list. The fourth on the list are the cluster heads and the beneficiaries, which is actually the final phase. Possibly we're going to give some other official value to all of this after the submission. The cluster heads, the fourth on the list, the cluster heads and the beneficiaries, which is the final phase. In the penultimate phase, the cluster heads would be the next recipients of the disbursed funds, given their leadership roles and administrative responsibilities within the distribution work. I beg your pardon. The financial empowerment is crucial to ensure smooth coordination at all levels. So the last categories to receive payments would be the beneficiaries. It is important to emphasize that the federal government has officially agreed to disburse funds to only 40% of the total number of beneficiaries at this stage, in quote, at this stage. That means it's going to follow a phased approach. All right, so this approach is we're going to extend it expansively after now. Just let me give the submission first. Then this approach is actually intended to facilitate a gradual and strategic rollout that ensures that the system remains financially stable and operationally efficient within the scope of time that is going to be admitted. Now, the government assurance and timeline for disbursement are herein stated. The federal government, after a series of negotiations and assessments, has provided an official assurance that the disbursement process will commence within this week. No be me talk now official source of information, we got that. You know, if you remember that I'm done with date prediction and week prediction and all that, but this is just what we got wind that the federal government officially assured. This commitment serves as a major milestone that is reaffirming the government's responsibility to also uphold its end of the agreement and ensuring that the distribution of funds is no longer subject to unnecessary delays as it used to. Then furthermore to that, the process is also set to begin tonight, signaling the start of a long-anticipated financial relief effort. And And this timeline reflects the efforts that is made by all the parties involved to ensure that the funds are directed towards their intended recipients with precision, with accountability and integrity. Very, very important. So a new dawn of financial empowerment has just arrived. The resolution of this meeting is marking a significant turning point in this journey towards equitable financial redistribution to all and sundry. It's a moment of renewed hope. It's a moment of progress and fulfillment of promises that have been long awaited by many. Now, this structured approach that is adopted in this disbursement process is actually designed to enhance sustainability. I know this would never go down with a lot of people. I mean, after waiting for so long, then the government adopted 40% phased approach distribution pattern. You know, say for this phase, 40% first, then the next possibly would be maybe another 40%, I don't know, or 50%, and the last might be 20%. Now, so who has to be on the queue? And my fear is that I'm still going to continue my submission. My fear is that the government is not reliable. If not for the advent of the IMF, that was like a bone on their neck. You could see what they finally had to submit to 40%. What happens to the next 60%? What stops them from rolling out everything just all at once? They say 40%. And they will feel like after they've paid the 40%, they are at loss. At least they've given you something. At least you have something to eat. What a government. What a shame. To you, they felt they are doing you a favor so that your money will not be lost in transit. That's what they think. But when it comes to theirs, they don't do a facial approach. Of late, I heard one of the members of the house rolling out how much he collected salary within a month. Oh my God. Oh my God. You need to possibly search out that video and listen to it and know how completely impoverished they have drained this country into. The lawmakers, it was in hundreds of millions. Hundreds of millions within a month. While people are languishing in outright and abject poverty, they don't even know where the next meal is going to come from. Now people have waited for 8 solid years. You're bringing a 40% phased approach. Well, I have to get a better update than this. Possibly something better than this should still come. Because I don't want to subscribe to this nonsense. If it is true that this is coming from the government and we have no explanation or better update to this, then there is a failure. There is a failure. This is not nice. It's not nice. According to them, this is to prevent systemic inefficiencies and ensure that the resources reach those who need them most, like they care. And with this approach on execution, recipients can look forward to receiving their payments in a timely and organized manner. Congratulations to all the beneficiaries who are set to possibly receive their funds within the first phased approach. It's a defining moment for them, one that brings financial relief to a certain extent, growth opportunities, and a possible sense of reassurance to all stakeholders. So I think I want to just wish them congratulations, partly. All right, but then my emphasis precisely is hinged on the 40% disbursement approach. And I'm going to talk about the implications and also the benefits. So listen to me carefully. And I think possibly this applies to Theobarth Global Foundation. Then if it is, we might still have to be waiting for that of Sanctuary Wealth approach, unless this applies to all of them at the same time. So only 40% of the total number of beneficiaries who are going to receive payments in this initial phase have been adjusted to this concept. The essence is to maintain strategic and systematic method that would aim at ensuring sustainability, efficiency, and accountability of the entire distribution process. So the key factors here are the financial stability, the liquidity management, the large scale of financial distributions, especially for those involving a significant number of beneficiaries, would definitely require a careful management to prevent cash flow disruptions. And by limiting this initial phase to 40% of beneficiaries, the government and the fund managers, the IMFs or the Central Bank of Nigeria can ensure that the available resources are allocated efficiently, and this will prevent unnecessary financial or strain on the system. Then secondly, this implementation for better oversight ensures a staggered distribution process, which allows for better monitoring, auditing, and tracking of funds. So if all the beneficiaries were to be paid at once, there would be an increased risk of financial mismanagement, there will be fraud, there would be administrative bottlenecks, and a controlled rollout ensures that any issues of discrepancies or inefficiencies can easily be identified and addressed before the subsequent phase of distribution occurs. So I think I'm just rolling out the potential benefits of this 40% approach. It also minimizes the risk of market inflation, according to what the government said at the point, and economic disruptions. So injecting large sum of money into the economy all at once might lead to inflationary pressures, where oversupply of cash can reduce the value of money and drive up prices of goods, which is already up in the market sector, and also goods and services. So a gradual release of funds starting with 40% of beneficiaries would ensure that the economy absorbs the financial influx smoothly, and that will reduce the likelihood of market distortions. And also not all beneficiaries may require immediate disbursement. As was said, the phased approach would allow the funds to be channeled first to those in urgent needs. They used to say not all quillboards are of the same height, but some of them are equal than the others, something like that. Yoruba has an adage, I can't remember everything now. You understand? So there are those that are mostly in need of this fund, they really distorted, that need this fund so badly. I beg your pardon. Some of them are challenged, physically challenged. Some of them are in their need, hospital assistances and all that. I guess those might be those ones that will fall into the first initial phase. And this will ensure that priority cases are addressed before the full rollout is ensured. This system precisely might promote some fairness and equity, which is directing the funds toward the most critical areas first within the economy. And finally, on the benefits or potential benefits of the 40% approach, the government commitment to long-term disbursement also is part of this. Rather than committing to a one-time bulk payout system, which may lead to financial exhaustion, the 40% model would demonstrate that the government is committed, if they are sincere and honest to the end, to a structured and sustained disbursement processes. And this approach will build confidence among stakeholders, which will show that the government is not just distributing funds recklessly, but is planning for long-term financial stability. If the IMF will still be on board, but what am I seeing the IMF having to wait with Nigeria or wait on Nigerians for all the rollouts to be completed? You see, if there is no check and balances with the government, if they are just left open, they're just left open to continue to be the one to manage the remaining 60%, I'm afraid. I'm so much afraid. So the potential implications of the 40% approach, while this strategy is offering some numerous benefits, it also comes with certain implications that must be considered. The number one, the initial uncertainty for remaining 60% of beneficiaries. Those who do not fall within the first 40%, they may definitely experience anxiety and uncertainty about when their turn would come. So it is important to maintain clear communication and transparency to reassure all the beneficiaries that they would receive their funds in subsequent phases. Else, fire go burn. Then we talk about the controlled economic growth. A gradual release of funds help to maintain economic balance rather than causing sudden economic fluctuations. But then precisely I'm just particular about the remaining 60% that has to follow in that fashion. So my final thought, it is dicey. It's dicey. And while some may view the 40% disbursement as a limitation, which I'm among of them, it is also, in fact, a strategy. I think it's a strategy and a thought-out plan approach for stability, sustainability, and efficiency from the government in the fund distribution. And if prioritizing this financial discipline, reducing risk, and ensuring some phased implementation to this, the method will lay the groundwork for, I'm thinking aloud, it might lay the groundwork for a successful and a transparent disbursement process if they're going to be fair to this system. They're going to be fair to this system. And this would benefit all stakeholders in the long run if we are dealing with a fair government, only that we are not dealing with a fair government. So as the first phase begins, beneficiaries can rest. They can be fully assured that the government has taken a proactive measure to ensure that all funds are distributed fairly and responsibly, which would pave the way for future disbursements in a controlled and well-regulated manner. I just pray that all of these things will really go in the right direction. It is purported. I pray that it visits or goes in the right direction. It is purported, because if it is not well managed and if there is nothing to check the government on the remainder of the percentage, I'm really afraid. I don't pray that we wait for nothing. I don't pray that we wait in vain after these long years, and you have to wait on and wait on. 40% approved, the remaining 60% hanging in the balance. Well, this is Prince Sisik channel. In case you're new, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell so that you don't miss out on vital updates. This is not a totally good bad news. It's in between. it's a mixed feeling. It's actually fixed with mixed feelings, and I pray that we get a better update to this. But as of now, as of this morning, that was the intel we got from the inside source. We hope to get a clearer version to this, and we pray that everything becomes better as we approach the end of the month. Let us see how this plays out. Don't be tired. I encourage you, brethren, brothers, sisters, my friend on this channel. I value you so much. I see a lot of you that have an open mind, a lot of you that have a very clean mind, clean conscience towards this. It's beyond this money. We're all here right now because of these funds, but definitely our life have been tentacled across other funds, other stuffs. So it's not just about the UAAG alone. We have other things that ties us together in indestructible oneness, just as a fan and as a family. I see a lot of us on this channel has a very good mind, a very good purpose towards our vision. God bless you. And I pray that God will empower you beyond the covers of UAAG or Theobarth or St. Rita Foundation or Supreme and the likes of all these grants. God will empower you that you will be bigger than this fund that you're expecting. It is my earnest expectation and my earnest prayer that God will empower you and fortify you, that you will see whatever is coming from this organ as just just a cheap meat. That this will be nothing towards what God will bless you with. And it's going to happen to somebody in the house in the name of Jesus Christ. Having said this, hit that notification bell. Do it right now so that we are just within the season of updates, and it's coming. It's coming. March will not be ended until those revelations comes to us, and that will make us glad. And disbursement is expected to happen by God's special grace. Let it happen in March. Let us march into our prosperities and march into our open heavens and favors, because we have waited long enough. Someone was saying yesterday in the comment section, says, we have prayed long enough. Why do we have to be subjected to prayer again? Madam Ngozi said we should pray again and keep on praying because there are forces in the air. Of course, I believe there are forces and we need to pray. I'm an advocate of prayer, so we should pray onwardly, pray without ceasing. When it appears that it's about to be good, pray. When it is good, pray. When it is not good, pray some more. And this prayer is going to edge us gradually to our fulfilled vision. Thank you very much.